Yo, what is going on, guys? Hope everyone's having a fantastic day and a Merry Christmas to everybody. There's some news. If you have time to take out of your day, there are some news I definitely want to talk about if you have a few minutes. And I want to talk about some of the things in this game, especially from yesterday, that really pissed me off. There was a few things that, not because it was against the Cowboys, it was because the self-inflicted wounds and on some plays and some players I definitely need to talk about going into this whole thing. Let's get straight into it.
We better turn. Because I've seen enough horror movies to know any weirdo wearing a mask is never friendly.
I need to try and relax. I need to try and relax because there are some things that just bother me so far. And there was a few things yesterday that we definitely need to talk about. I think the number one thing we got to talk about, I think that comes into next week and what's going to happen here is this whole Jalen Hurts situation. Now, before the game even started, Jay Glazer was on TV and he was pretty much talking about this shoulder sprain from Jalen Hurts. Now, the first bit of news I heard was he wasn't going to be there for the Cowboys game. He was going to be out for the Saints game as well. Now, Glazer said that depending on a win or a loss, that Hurts would be back next week. I don't know what the answer is. Is he in pain? Is his shoulder still bad? I have no idea. I can't tell what news is right, what news is wrong. I guess from this, I could say that this is more because it's reported than just a rumor that we hear from online. And if Hurts is going to play next week, is his shoulder going to be 100%? Not only is that Saints game important just to win the first seed and to win a division, but this game is important for draft picks. This is important for our first-round pick we have of the Saints. They did win their game the other day, so that pick is probably out of the top 10 because that pick was at, 8, 9 overall, 8th or 9th overall most likely, so they probably got out of the top 10 with that. So I don't know where that pick is even at right now. If anybody knows, just let me know in the comment section below. But this I don't know what's going to happen here. Hurts is probably going to push himself to play. That is the report. Hurts is trying to push the coaching staff to get him to play next week because they got to win one game. You can't put it on the last game of the season because you just can't. So a Saints team that is frantically, I think, winning their division right now, which is pretty sad, but a team that's winning right now. And the Eagles got to make a decision next week of what's going to happen with Jalen Hurts. Because you win that first seed next week, then you can start resting guys and get ready for the playoffs. Because really, we can't control what happens the last week, who the Saints' last opponent is going to be. So Hurts is reportedly pushing to play next week. This was before the game, not after. So this was depending on if the Eagles win or lose. And obviously, if the Eagles lose, Hurts is trying to get back in there. Now, after, obviously, he plays that Saints game next week, if the Eagles win, and pretty much I hope they do next week, okay, then you can start resting everybody. You don't need Hurts for that last game against the Giants. Pretty much the Giants will probably, depending if they're going to be playing their stars or not. We'll talk about that when we get to it. But overall, Hurts is probably going to push himself to play next week. I don't know if it means that. Is he 100%? Is he 90? Is he 80? Is he aching? Can he not feel his shoulder? I don't know what's going on. I wish I had the answers, but I don't. Okay? So that's the first thing on my list. Second, what the hell is going on with Big Play Slay? I've been talking about it for weeks. I've been saying it in the Philly Shakedown podcast. I've been mentioning it in my videos once in a while the past few weeks. And it seems like Slay has just regressed a little bit for some weird reason. Like he's giving up these easy receptions. Not only, of course, as much turnovers, the 4 turnovers we had in this game, but obviously the easy touchdown to CeeDee Lamb with nobody covering him, coming off the line. Josiah Scott touches him, on his shoulder, and then he runs through the whole entire secondary in that zone coverage, and Slay just miscommunicated. They said it on TV, so I know it was Slay's fault. But this has been an issue for several weeks. I'm not saying the one last week against the Bears. They always, one of those, you can't give up a play like that especially in the playoffs. You can't just blown coverage a play and act like it's all good. It's not. You cannot let something like that happen. Zone coverage. I hate this zone coverage scheme because obviously they're patting these receivers off the line. They're not getting thumped off their route. They're getting free releases, and they're running by. I see the confusion as these receivers are running by all our secondary. They're looking. They don't know what to do. I'm like, what are these guys doing? I just don't get it. And Slay, I've been mentioning it for weeks, but I've been not trying to make a big deal about it. But yeah, Slay gave up some yards today. Like, Slay is just, it hasn't really impressed me too much. I know I'm not the only one that's seeing this. I want to know your perspective on the whole thing with Big Play Slay the past several weeks. And has he looked kind of off-ish, if we want to say it that way? But I'll leave it to you guys. Definitely something I'm going to mention on the Philly Shakedown when we do our next stream. And definitely important to talk about because just it's not he's a smart player, man. Like, he's a vet. How is he missing? Is it Gannon confusing these players? What is going on? You cannot blow a coverage for a free touchdown. Another free touchdown literally given to the Cowboys on Sunday. And I hate giving away things for free. I hate it. Can't stand it. It sucks. Okay? So that's what I got to say about the whole Slay situation. Now I want to talk about the injuries, which, you know, were kind of scary today. And I think Maddox, man, Jesus Christ, like, made of glass. If you touch him, he could break. I'm not even kidding. Like, Maddox almost had that sack on Dak, and Dak threw the ball for a first down. Couldn't wrap around him too much. I think Maddox had a sack on Dak Prescott, which his ankle messed up. I don't know if it's the turf. I don't know what's going on, but we just lost this guy for weeks. And now he's probably going to be hurt again. We'll probably be able to get him back. If it's not that serious, we'll probably be able to get him back. But as soon as Josiah Scott got in that game, CeeDee Lamb landed right on him, and that was it. They put CeeDee Lamb in the slot, and they were just killing us with him. Josiah Scott's horrible. Like, I don't know if they got to do somebody. Is somebody better? Is Zach McPherson better? Probably not. Is Mario Goodrich better? Probably not. I don't know who else to put out there, to be honest. I can't name another guy off their practice squad to say, hey, maybe. Josh Jobe, I think, is hurt. I mean, Josiah Scott sucks. And they've really exposed that, which, you know, the Cowboys immediately put him in the slot, immediately when he got out of the game. So it really frustrates me. Now, Maddox is becoming very, very injury prone, which is really pissing me off. Coming back from, now he'll be able to probably hit the playoffs and come back. You know, if he could stay healthy for one game, I'd be happy. But losing him in our secondary sucks once again, and the Eagles have to try to generate pressure and kind of expose that. Now, later in the game, they had Kavon Wallace, and they kind of were pushing CeeDee Lamb a little bit, kind of messing up his route or trying to physically get him off his route a little bit later in the second half. But, you know, there's only so much you could do. If you have no pressure and it's not consistent and you're not getting to the quarterback, the guy's going to be open all the time. Really, their only good receiver on the team, and it killed us, unfortunately, and it really sucked. I mean, the one thing that Josiah Scott actually did well was that one-on-one. I think it was in the fourth quarter, the one-on-one. I think he deflected a pass on CeeDee Lamb, which he was actually beat, but Josiah Scott had enough speed in the end zone to deflect that pass. But it's just not good enough. It's not saying it's not a beat. It's not a hate. I don't hate Josiah Scott. I don't hate him as a person. Like, he's just not good, man. It's not his fault. He's getting his chance. He's happy he's getting his chance. He's just not good enough to play in the nickel. He's just not. Nickel's a hard spot. You got to have good instinct. You just got to have that it factor of being a nickel corner. And Josiah Scott just doesn't have it, unfortunately. It sucks. It's horrible. I can't stand it. So that's another thing we're going to have to deal with when we find out more news about these injuries going forward. He's probably going to miss some time. Probably not going to play next week. I'd be shocked if they said he was fine. But he probably will have another chance to play, especially in the playoffs. He will have his chance. The Eagles are still in the playoffs, guys, and we have another chance to get him back once again. So that is the news on Avonte Maddox so far, or at least from what we've seen, and just really pissed me off to see him hurt again. Now, the big one. God, this one cannot be bad, and I feel like it's more serious than it is. Lane Johnson, I haven't talked about Lane Johnson all year. When you don't talk about your offensive lineman much, especially in videos, it's a good thing because they're doing the right thing every single game. Hasn't given up a sack. Micah Parsons couldn't do a damn thing against Lane Johnson whatsoever in this game. Completely shut him down. Okay, then switched over to Mulata's side. Okay, so Lane Johnson, I don't know if it's a knee injury. It looked like it was. Sirianni left the game 4 minutes early before the game ended. 4 minutes, okay, to go and check on Lane Johnson. So it doesn't look good. He went to the blue tent in a lot of pain. You lose Lane Johnson, man, it's going to suck. This is not going to be good, okay? I'm hoping it's a few weeks. It's something not as serious. I'm really hoping it's not an ACL. I don't think so, but you can still walk with an ACL. I've seen it a million times. You can still walk even when you get an ACL. So as long as he walked, got to the blue tent, walked out, and Sirianni left 4 minutes early, 4 minutes before the game ended, and went to go check up on Lane Johnson, and it just seemed like it's not good. You lose Lane Johnson. Yeah, Jack Driscoll gets his shot. And Jack Driscoll, like I said with Jack, okay, he's got starting experience, a lot of starting experience. When he was a rookie, he got a lot of starting experience. I mean, he could play guard and tackle. Can he hold up as a right tackle? I don't know right now. I don't know because he hasn't played that much this year. So to get him into the groove of things is going to be really important down the road. All I'm asking, that's why I want to get out of this Dallas game so fast and just get this win and end this whole thing because it just seemed like the Eagles were dropping players. It was just nuts. And thank God it was only a few guys, but these are guys you really need on the field. Okay, and Lane Johnson is obviously the biggest one of them all. I mean, thank God this isn't Jalen Hurts' blind side, but still, if you get Jalen Hurts back, he's got to know that Jack Driscoll just needs more work. Which I think if he has more work, he'll play better. I've seen Jack Driscoll play at a higher level. He had health issues earlier in his career, but maybe they can get it done. I'm hoping this Lane Johnson injury, and if Lane Johnson could play this week, but he's still hurt, sit him. Just sit him. You can't afford it. You have a playoff spot right now. You can't afford to have this guy playing on injury. And Lane Johnson did it a few times. He did the last, 2 seasons on an ankle. He got an ankle injury. He played on it for 7-8 weeks, and then he just called it quits and had that go on IR. At least, Jalen Johnson has a lot of toughness and he will play on injuries, but you cannot afford to put, even if he's 75% healthy and he could play, I wouldn't play him next week. As much as it sucks to say, you're going to have to put Jack Driscoll in there. Give Jack Driscoll some work this week at right tackle. If this injury is actually that bad, we'll find out. We'll see. That's really it. I mean, we could talk about obviously Gannon's, 3rd and 30. I mean, that was just god awful. As much as, we talked about Slay and just blowing coverage. That play was probably one of the worst plays of the game. One of the most big pivotal moments where the Cowboys actually had a lot of momentum, which really turned the game around. The Eagles were just backing up Dak Prescott. They gave him a sack. They were backing up. They were stopping the run game. They were doing a really good job. Unfortunately, a play like that really pisses me off in a lot of ways. I don't know what Gannon was thinking on that play. I don't know if it's 3rd and 30 and you're just playing your basic defense. I don't get it. If it was 3rd and 30, they weren't, They weren't across the 50-yard line. I understand if they're across the 50-yard line, it'd be a different story, but there's a lot of field to work with. Move your guys back and keep everything inside. And you don't have to worry about a play happening like that. The safety came over the top way too late. It just didn't work. Okay, and T.Y. Hilton has one big catch of the day, pretty much. Probably made a couple catches, but his biggest catch was that catch. That was a good play by the Cowboys. And Gannon just made this team look stupid, that play. Made our defense look like a bunch of bums from that play that happened. Why are not moving everybody back, giving the receiver space, and just tackling them inbounds to get that 4th down? Eagles are off the field. Unless we were at the 50-yard line, I don't know, but that was just horrible to give up just 30 yards. It's just horrible. Like that, that should never happen. And it did. And that was really bad. So, when it comes to this defense and it comes to, like, just like when the bad exchange with Boston Scott, that fumble happened, people were like, oh, and the defense gave up a touchdown. It took a few plays. It took a good amount of plays. And all the Eagles fans are blaming the defense for it. Like, how are you blaming the defense? Like, the offense has put your defense in a bad position with short field, and you're blaming it on the defense, not between quarterback and running back? That's ridiculous. Like, there's some things I can defend about this defense, but there are some things about Jonathan Gannon and what he has done with this defense. And I haven't really complained about him. I've given him his respect for the past few weeks. He has played phenomenal. The pass rush is consistent. But this game, man, just a few of these stupid plays and missed tackling, and linebackers can't cover tight ends, and it was just horrible, man. It was horrible. They better shape up and get ready, man, because that tackling was horrific. Kaiser White, Jesus Christ. Edwards, Jesus Christ. I mean, it was bad all around, and it just got worse. Very up and down defense all game. That 3rd and 30 really killed anything like that. As a defensive player, seeing that happen, I mean, whether you're a corner or a defensive lineman, just seeing a play like that happen and it converted, it's not good. It's not good at all. So that's all I really want to talk about, guys. Obviously, we'll talk about these injuries more in the week. You guys enjoy your Christmas. Enjoy your holiday. And just chill out. Don't let it get to your head. We'll be good to go. And we'll have a lot to talk about this week. And we'll see you guys on the next one. SHAKESQUAD up, follow side. Peace out, guys. Peace.